Does your board of directors ask how diversified your revenue streams are? How exposed you are? Are you allocating staff time correctly? Are you better at acquiring new donors or keeping the donors you have? Which donors should you work harder to attract and keep? Here is a way to answer those questions for your board on one sheet of paper. Just like a cash flow statement shows changes to your financial position over the year to an accountant, a donor churn report tracks the behavior of your donors over the year and gives marketers greater insight into how successful their activities have been. Just like a cash flow statement, you start with a beginning balance of donors and donations. Subtract the donors that didn't renew, add the donors who did renew, add new donors. You then have an ending balance. The columns represent the 4 revenue streams. This nonprofit had revenues from 4 different streams of donors. These are the same figures that show in the other report called the Revenue Efficiency Report, shown in another video. Overall, it looks like this nonprofit is staying the same or improving. This nonprofit received $30,000 from 20 corporations last year and this year. On the surface, it looks like their corporate donors are loyal, but when you look at the details, another picture emerges. They lost 15 corporate donors and worked hard to replace them with another 15 corporations. That is a renewal rate of only 25%. Ask yourself, are there any patterns to the types of corporations which are leaving? Were there any gaps in the touch points throughout the year? Do we need to reallocate staff who are only spending 10% of their time with these donors? Given how large the top donation was, there is a lot of exposure if that corporation doesn't renew. Now let's look at foundations. Most are very loyal and there is minimal churn. Even though 20% of the donations come from one foundation, the other foundations are very generous. Since many foundations operate in a 2-year cycle, they cannot be counted as neither renewed nor lost, but rather on hold. One foundation was lost because it didn't renew after 2 years. 4 foundations renewed after a 1-year break. This nonprofit has found that over time, foundations are loyal, but the donation amounts vary. This means that when you set annual targets for staff, consider basing the targets on the number of donors because that is more controllable. Although donation dollars is important, it is less controllable by staff, and it runs the risk of becoming a disincentive. Donations from major givers was successful and didn't take much staff time. Great job. The renewal rate from regular donors was low at 10%. Senior management needs to automate all communication to these donors to lower costs and to ensure a consistent message. The typical price point is about $160, so all communication needs to highlight what a donation at that level can accomplish. Also, consider lowering the threshold for identifying major donors from 1,000 to 500, since that was the highest donation. In summary, this nonprofit needs to retain their corporate donors and reduce staff time with regular donors. For nonprofits which spend more, perhaps over $500,000 in marketing to individual donors, you can get a more thorough analysis by completing the other Mass Marketing Effectiveness Report on another video.